Hello, everyone. This is Doxy, my weekly meeting with you. I apologize that it's been a little bit longer than normal. I was having my driveway redone, and we had a lot of noise and things going on, and it's been a lot of heat in the area and a lot of rain. I'm actually in my basement for the first time all year because it is really cool down here, almost 25 degrees cooler than the rest of the house. And my husky is gleefully laid down in front of me, also enjoying the cool tile. This is not a room in the house we typically spend a lot of time in. But it got me to thinking as I was down here trying to look at the how we do things. And in one of my leadership classes, we were looking at trying to get into people's mindset. Why do we do what we do, particularly in this new environment? I've noticed a lot of my students giving examples of things that people are trying in this new COVID environment for leadership and trying to understand that we know we need to stay connected. We know that people are feeling isolated. I am too. I've been actually working at home for more than 14 years now. And every now and then I feel it. It's a little bit typical when you isolate alone and it's just me and my dog Gracie. And I miss having a family. I miss having a husband and in-laws that come over and all kinds of things. And it's a very new normal when you're trying to do this all by yourself. And you need people. So what do? I pick up the phone. And so this is the part where I'm trying to be able to help offer some examples of what do you do when you need something? Many people assume that our bosses are going to be the ones that are going to make the offer. What if you made the ask? If you're not getting something that you need, one of my students taught me years ago, a closed mouth does not get fed. So ask. Spend the time with your teams, your families. And if you're not getting what you need, find a respectful, humorous, unique way of being able to ask. For example, it might be something that you need to check in with your employees several times a day. You might check with them in the morning, just like you would have the morning coffee in the routine that you do at the office. Maybe you have to check in at lunchtime. Maybe you have a virtual lunch together. Everybody grabs their food and we all sit around the coffee table and have a Zoom call and we eat at the same time and try to mimic as close as possible. I know it's not the same. Trust me, I get lonely and getting tired of this little black box myself that all the folks, but you can mimic very closely the things that you want to do. I was with my sorority last night and we were doing yoga. I was doing it badly, but I was still doing yoga. But the point was, I could have just as easily watched the video that we all played, but we had a sense of community that there was 20 of us or so all around the country, and we were doing it together. We've had meetings all week, and it was funny to do breakout rooms and all kinds of interesting technology. So I want you to think about what do you need and what are the tools that we have, because I think the idea of a metaphor here is really to think like a carpenter. A carpenter comes to a job site with a host of tools, and you're not paying the carpenter for their time in your home using those tools. You're paying them for all the time they use them before they ever got to your home. Because many people are going to have all kinds of new things that a stopped up sink might have a different variation when they're in one home versus another. But you want to look at the successful ways that people have done this, and that's experience. So they know the first thing to try that has the highest probability of success the first time around. And then you keep going through. One of my students mentioned today the idea of Goldilocks. The ability is, yes, you have opposite ends of the spectrum. This one's too hot, this one's too cold, this one's just right. Most people stop at option in the extremes because it's difficult to keep trying when things aren't working. Your team might love to check in the morning and just have a virtual shout out and do shots of espresso or having the coffee clutch that's by the water cooler. Or we might want to just have maybe members of the team or a couple of you just hang out for lunch or hang out. Yes, you can even do virtual happy hours, whether you drink an adult beverage or not. So I'm trying to offer some creative thinking. These are not new tools we have, just new applications of helping people to think about these tools. And that's why I want you to think about today is the how. I could have sat in my house and still been really hot even though the air conditioning is working overtime. I chose to look at things differently. I chose to find another room in the house, which is the basement, that I don't have to do anything. Matter of fact, there's nothing actually in the basement. But it's a matter of how do you see differently what's already there? That's my job as your faculty, is to give you these new eyes, these new glasses for you to put on going, hey, I never thought of it that way. Or, hey, maybe I need to look at it upside down or right side up or backwards or forwards or something different than you've always done. Remember, if you do the same thing you've always done, you'll get what you've always had. The same constructs that created the problem can't be the same that find the solution of the problem. That comes directly from Einstein. So let me offer you a little bit of guidance in exploring the not just what you do, but the how you do it, and to get a little bit more creative. Because I've been in this online environment way before this online environment was cool. I started my online in Japan when I came back from Japan because I wanted to stay with the university. And you know what it was back then? A VCR tape and an email address. Now I have classes I can teach from my home with students around the globe, real time. And so if you need something, ask for it. If you have this idea, because I have this idea of refractive thinking, and I was a critical thinking professor for a long time, and I still do it, but most people think of in the box and out of the box. Let's move this one over here and do in the box is thinking, out of the box is critical thinking, beyond the box is refractive thinking. What's next? What if? Could we? Why not? These are the questions that leaders ask. And I want to get you to start asking them as well. So from my cool basement here in Chicago with the heat finally in the midst of summer in July, we're asking the what if and why not? And if you need help brainstorming, that's part of what I do. So call me. This is Dr. C, your faculty, wishing you a wonderfully creative and unusual day. Have a good one. I'll see you around the quad. Bye-bye.